What is up, my friends? Kevin Shirka here, the Indiana Jones nerd yet again. And today we're finally going to be doing something which I've been wanting to do for quite a long time now. And this is my full breakdown of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny trailer that was released at the beginning of this month. As many of you know, I was, of course, in Qatar watching the World Cup when this was all going on. So I would have made this video at that time if I could have. And I probably should have done it a little sooner after I came back, but now we finally have the chance to do it. So this is the trailer, which 99% of it was released at D23 at that expo in October, and a lot of us did see the leaked version of that trailer. So a lot of us have already seen this trailer even before it was released December 1st of this month. But seeing it, obviously in high definition was just glorious. So we're gonna kick things off here, and I don't have. Hey guys. Yeah, I wish people stopped bashing the movie. Definitely, I think it's gonna be a good movie, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I think there's a lot of undue bashing of the movie. But yeah, let me focus on this for now. So here we go. So this is the opening image of the trailer. We can see the camel there. We saw a different angle of this shot. Actually, I think I want to say there was somebody on the very top of that roof in the background filming this scene, because maybe they edited it out now, but back in I guess October or November of 2021, I remember seeing this scene, but it was filmed from somebody's camera, probably from the roof of that opposite building over there, because I specifically remember seeing that camel, and the cars were whizzing around it. So, having that camel in there, I think adds a lot to this scene and brings it to life a little bit. And you can see, of course, Indy is driving the car at this point. Helena is there as well. And then Hynix, or Teddy or Hynix, we're not sure about his name yet. The boy with curly hair. The Ethan Isidore character, I forget his full name. So he's there. Those three characters are there, and they're being pursued by this vehicle here, which is associated with the Mads Mikkelsen, Kleber, Hawk group. And here we see later, this is the two tuk-tuks now separated. So I believe what happens is that Indy is driving this tuk-tuk to begin with, and then Helena jumps off the tuk-tuk. Initially, she jumps onto a car. At some point she jumps onto a car, and then at some point she gets this second tuk-tuk, and we later see, of course, Indy jump from his onto hers, which is right here, although at this point it's on the other side. And we also see Hynix, I'm going to call him Hynix, the boy in the white shirt there. We do see him driving the tuk-tuk at some points during this scene. Of course, as you all know, I've been obsessed with the making of this movie since it's been going on June of 2021. So I've looked at all of the leaked images and all these things. So and read all the leaks and things. So we know that he's going to be an important character. So that's why I keep bringing him up this boy in the white shirt and the curly hair, because he is going to have a decent sized role in this movie, and he's being kept a secret for some reason. So my theory currently is he's like a character who is, he's like a poor young boy in this realm of assassins and things like that, and so somehow he's kind of associated with them. He kind of strikes me as the character who like would pick Indy's pocket, but later becomes Indy's ally. So I'm getting that sort of vibe a lot. I actually have wondered if he picks Indy's pocket and then Indy has to go to wherever he is to buy back whatever item. Although we see that Hawk is in that scene as well, so maybe not. We'll get into that a little bit later. Great camera work here. This scene is going to be really fun. Great stunts, great driving. Here's a look at the pursuers here. We see some people in the back around there. And this is a great shot right here of Indy jumping as the tuk-tuk is taken out. And it's interesting because the green car is like right behind it, and somehow they did this in a way so that it's probably the green truck was not. This green truck is probably added after the fact, because it seems like it comes through and it just barely manages to miss that green car, and the green car doesn't swerve or anything. So just something I noticed there. Alright, and here we are. This is New York. Actually, it's Glasgow, but the scene here is doubling for New York. And, I think something that we'll say every time we look at a shot from this location is that they did a terrific job, because this does look an awful lot like 1969 New York. You can see the stand of magazines there, and there's someone selling Coca-Cola. Love all these signs and everything. Everything looks really great. I absolutely love these bits here. There's even like a big sign here. Rothstein, I guess. So yeah, a lot of details. It'd be interesting to know how much is, if any of this is done after the fact. Like probably the buildings way back there are like the actual New York skyline, Empire State Building. So probably that's something that they added after the fact. And like this lady up here, it's probably all those things were done in camera. But I did not anticipate to see someone up there. That's a nice little addition there. And that, of course, is Dr. Jones, but it's not Harrison Ford, unless this particular shot is something that was redone at Pinewood. But yeah, I've seen shots near this location, and it was not Harrison Ford on the set, so probably not Harrison Ford in that shot. And then here we have some undersea adventuring, and this does look a bit like the boat, which I'm going to just pull up some of my other videos here really quick just to show you. Alright, so here we are. So this is a boat. I'm not sure like the technical name for it, but this is like a boat that we see being used by probably ancient Romans though they could be Greek. And, you know, if you remember this sort of arching look to it, it does look very similar to what we're looking at here with this arch in the back there. So something that we're going to get into a little bit in this video, and you know, there are going to be some spoilers here, which are based on my own looking at it and trying to understand. There have been some leaks, like official leaks, but there's a lot of false information out there also. But just going off of what I have seen, I do think that there will be an element of time travel in this movie. And I might get into this later in this video, but the short version is, what I think happens is, the movie is going to start off with a scene in World War II. Then we go to 1969. We do all of that adventuring stuff. Then near the end of the film, after Morocco and at the end of the Sicily section of the film, Indy and Sonia are going to travel through time. And they're going to go back first, I believe, to World War II. And they're going to be, you know, experiencing that opening scene of the film, similar to how Back to the Future would do that. And then the last, like, big chunk of the film, they're going to travel back to ancient Sicily. So that's what I believe is going to happen. So this is sort of like when you, in like time travel movies, when you see something and you don't know the significance of it, and then later in the movie they time travel back and the main character actually uses that and it ends up in the situation that you saw it at the beginning of the movie. So that's kind of maybe what we might be seeing from this little boat here. So this is something that they're going to see while they're scuba diving here, and then later Indy maybe is going to come across this actual boat in ancient Syracuse. And we can see that there's a whatever you want to call it, a body, a skeleton, all grimy here under the sea, holding what looks to be you know, a treasure chest or a book or a box or something. And excuse me. Oh man, hope that's the last one. Jeez. All right, so I like the lighting here with the sunlight coming in. It adds a nice you know, texture sort of to the image. Presumably this is Indy pulling it out. And then we get this eel coming out of the mouth of the skeleton, which, you know, Indiana Jones movies always have to have like the scene where there's like snakes or bugs or rats or whatever it is, and so maybe eels could possibly be the scene for Indy 5 in that regard. And, you know, eels are kind of similar to snakes, so you wonder how Dr. Jones will feel about seeing some of those eels. That might be interesting. And, of course, this shot is also reminiscent of a shot from Raiders of the Lost Ark where Marion is within the back wall of the Well of Souls and you see a skeleton with a snake coming out of its mouth. So definitely some... And it looks like maybe its tail is sticking out of the front of... Oh no, that's a second. So there's two eels. So one's coming out of the mouth and one is coming out of the eye. You can see there. And maybe a third one comes out of the other eye at the end there. And let's see what's... And then we just see this whole thing kind of breaks apart. So probably they pull whatever box out and then they get swarmed by these eels. This looks like what's going to happen there. Alright, so now... so that's something that happens kind of, I think, towards the end. But now we're going to jump to something that happens much earlier. So this is back after the opening adventure. This is probably going to be one of the first things that we see in the Indiana Jones 5 section of the movie that's set in 1969. So here we see Indy. He has a new classroom. Doesn't match up with the one that he taught in during Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. But this time it's a much bigger classroom, which kind of makes sense. So here he has something on the screen here, and I think a lot of people were thinking, oh, this is some sort of clue about what the MacGuffin is. But Indy is usually teaching something in his class which is not relevant to the rest of the movie. That's just how it's been in the past movies. So for this one, somebody actually posted on Reddit. They found this actual image, and it doesn't seem to be anything that's important to the plot. It's just like a vase. I want to say that it was like a Jewish thing, like a Hebrew made vase. So I'm not gonna go find that right now. But if you guys are interested, you can probably scour through Indiana Jones on Reddit and find that picture. So I just want to take a quick look at the, just everybody wearing their period clothing and everything. Yeah, it looks all right. These are always kind of fun little things to look out for. Just so great seeing Dr. Jones again, seeing him teaching. Love it. All right, and then here we're skipping around quite a bit. So this is back near the end of the Sicily 1969 section of the film, where Indy and Sonia are going to be exploring a cave. And this bridge here is the same one that we saw in the kind of well-known picture. Let me see, just pull it up. I'm sure you all know the one. Let's see here. There we are. So you can clearly see the first official image from Indiana Jones 5 was right here. This is Indy and Helena. Sorry, I may have said Sonia earlier. So just to kind of refresh myself. So the characters of the movie, obviously Harrison Ford plays Indiana Jones. Helena is the name of the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. And then Voller is the Mads Mikkelsen character. So there was an earlier rumor that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character is named Sonia, but it turned out that that's not the case. Her name is Helena. So I'm sorry if I said Sonia earlier. So this is when Indy and Helena are exploring this tomb, which I believe is, in terms of shooting locations, this set obviously was from a Pinewood set, I'm pretty certain. But we also had scenes that were shot in the Doric Temple in Segesta and the... Let me just pull it up really quick. Here we go. Alright, so here we see the Doric Temple of Segesta. And there's, of course... Sorry, guys. Man. Alright, the Doric Temple of Segesta. So this is a beautiful spot here. Unfortunately, I don't have the really nice one in this video. Let me pull it up on the other video. It should be just after this. Alright, so here you see, again, there we go, the Doric Temple, I guess. This is a beautiful shot. It sits atop these rolling hills up here. So what I believe is that Indy and Sonia come to this location, and they're going to be exploring this temple. But then they kind of look over the cliff here, and they see something. And what I believe they see is the ear of Dionysus, which is from the archaeological park in Syracuse, where the film also shot. So I believe they're going to be going into this cave here, and that will end up being this cave. And so you can see them coming across here. There's some water going, which, you know, if it's practical, that's obviously they're using the 007 stage, which is like the big stage that they used for all the big James Bond movies. Every time they make a villain's lair or different things like that, so they have a great stage to be doing things like this in. And so in every Indiana Jones movie has to have the kind of exploring tomb scene and the booby traps and all that. So I think that'll be a fun segment of the film as well. This seems to be another part of that segment. We see in the foreground, it looks like the hand of a statue, a giant statue. And then we see the silhouette of Indy, and we see this big boulder or carving of planet Earth, or maybe the moon. And so there's a feeling that there's a few times when like this sort of shape turns up in the movie. And so I think that it is kind of a homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark, the famous boulder scene. But also this particular item is going to pop up later in the trailer, as it seems to be used in relation to a booby trap or just some sort of puzzle that Indy has to solve. Alright, and then now we're jumping around quite a bit here. So this is probably the beginning of the movie. This, I believe, is young Indy, taking place in 1944. So this is the actual 1944 Indy with the sack on his head there, and this is at Bamburgh Castle, of course. You can see there's a tank, looks like, or some sort of vehicle behind him. And he is... he does seem to be in disguise as a German officer. You can see whatever medallions or something there under the that the bag isn't covering, I should say. And while we're at it, let's just take a look at some of the really awesome vehicles. Alright, so here's a look at Bamburgh Castle from the outside when they were filming it. Obviously there's going to be a train, and we'll see some shots from that later in the trailer. This is part of the train. And some more of the train. But there's one particular tank that I want to show you that is really cool. And yeah, we will see Indy on bike, of course. Alright, here we go. So this is inside of Bamburgh Castle. This is all of the vehicles, more or less. and you can see that tank at the top there. I think I have another image. Yeah, here we go. So this is a really interesting, cool-looking armored vehicle. And I'm just wondering if that is something that we see here in the trailer. So just take one more look at everything here and then we'll compare it. There's some trucks and some motorcycles with sidecars. Quite a few different types of trucks. And then that tank, of course. And so let's jump back over here. And let's see. I'm just trying to compare this to see if it's the same. I guess it must be the same, yeah. So it looks like you can see that particular tank right here. This gate must be part of something else. Alright, so there we go. So that's a look at that tank as an explosion goes off. So that's really cool. A beautiful location, a stunning location, and of course there's explosions going off. We don't know for sure if this is some sort of a Allied bombardment, because this is supposed to take place in 1944. That's what we've been told. So it could be that this is an Allied bombardment going on here, but it could be maybe that Indy set off some explosions. Alright. And then here we see the train. And here we have just one person running on the train. Where in other scenes we have a few people. And we can see inside the train, you can see some heads moving around in there. So that's kind of cool. And what else can we see from this train? So this is someone, they're running from kind of the the section of the train that has a mounted gun on it. They're running from the back of the train towards the front of the train as it's moving here. Very, smoky, foggy background. So you could kind of tell the aesthetics of the shot with some other shots that are going to be coming up that match. Yeah, so we'll see more shots of this train later. We'll see shots of Indy, Basil, who's Toby Jones' character, and I believe Thomas Kretschmann, who is named. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at some of your comments later. Let me just. Whoops. Alright, and I just wanted to get one character name really quick. Okay, Colonel Weber. And then Agent Mason. Okay. And Ronaldo. Okay. So a few of these are kind of newer names that were announced. I just want to get those. Alright, so Colonel Weber. So we know that Indy, Basil, and I think Colonel Weber are seen on top of this train. So, and Indy doesn't seem to have his hat on here, where he does have a hat in some scenes. So either this could be Colonel Weber, who's the Thomas Kretschmann character, or maybe Indy, still disguised in an officer's uniform, escaped from wherever he was and is now running on the train to get to where his supplies and outfit are. So maybe he had the dial or whatever MacGuffin in his satchel, so he's going to retrieve that. That's sort of a guess. Okay, and then this is another shot that happens during the same. I want to be careful, maybe not to necessarily say during the same scene, but during the same time within the events of the story, overall story of the film. So this does look like it's taking place in the 1944 segment, and it's someone on a motorcycle chasing after a German aircraft, but there's another picture, another image which was in the D23 trailer, but not in this release of the trailer, which is a reverse shot of Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which it would take me some time to pull it up. But yeah, basically there is a shot of Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm just going to try to pull it up real quick. I bet I can find it pretty quick. Alright. Alright, now we're skipping ahead a bit. Alright. So, it did come much later in the trailer, but this is the reverse shot of that shot. So it looks like it is Helena, the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. And we come back here. And so I do have something I kind of want to say about this, but alright, maybe I'll just go ahead and say here. So what I think is going on at the end of the film here, this is during the part of the film where Indy and Helena time travel back to World War II. And I believe that Indy has been captured and is on this plane, which I'm guessing that Voller, the Mads Mikkelsen character, is also on this plane. I'm guessing that they have the Dial of Destiny and they're using it here to open like a time portal or something to travel to ancient Syracuse. Not sure why. I don't know what they're trying to do, but based on what we've seen from trailers and pictures and things, it seems like that is kind of what's going on here. And so Helena is going to be chasing after them and presumably gets on board, and then after the plane does time travel, she and Indy use a parachute to escape. And I'll show you the images that we have of Indy and Helena on a parachute. Alright. Alright, so this is Tunar del Seco. This is where some things were shot, which I think are taking place in the immediately after that scene. So here we see the remains of that German aircraft, which has been crashed, has been destroyed. And you can see some more goodies here. But I just wanted to show you Indy and Helena. Indy has his parachute on, where Helena does not. So what it looks like is that Helena is going to go get onto the plane, save Indy. Indy gets a parachute, and then together, using that one parachute, they escape from the plane. So that's where my line of thinking is right now. So there's a scene associated with that. And now here we jump back to the very beginning yet again. And this is Indy in his office, similar to how we saw Indy's office in Last Crusade, but this one presumably is a different location, and we can see some statues and some relics of his past adventures, which is a nice touch, of course. Alright. And now we see Mr. Salah, John Rhys Davies. Everyone was really happy to know that he was returning. This actor playing this character have been in 2 previous Indiana Jones movies, both Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which are the 2 probably most popular Indiana Jones movies. So everyone's really happy about that. Give me 1 second to blow those. Okay. Alright, so John Rhys Davies, very happy to see him back. We'll get a reverse shot of him in 1 second. And here's Indy. Dressed in his most plain that we see him throughout the movie, looks like. And you can tell from the cab behind him that this is New York. And I've been told, I originally thought maybe this was like like a hotel. I originally thought this was Morocco. But that cab, I think, indicates that this is New York. And people have told me that this is similar to the airport in New York. Which I guess would be JFK Airport. I'm not sure about the history of the airport, if it was called that in 1969 or if there was a different airport there, but I've been told that this looks similar to JFK Airport, is what I've been told. And you can see these two ladies in blue here look like they are employees of an airline company, so that strengthens that. And here's a look at Salah once again. So yeah, it looks like Salah is in New York, and he's talking about how he misses the days of adventuring. So is Salah maybe a teacher now in New York? Maybe Indy and Salah work together as teachers, but who can say? But yeah, so that's a look at Mr. John Rhys Davies as Salah. Great to see him back, of course. I think everyone's really happy to get a few legacy characters in there. And there's Dr. Jones once again. And of course, this is where they have the those days have come and gone, perhaps not. And then he turns around. So nice moment kind of suggesting one last adventure. Alright, and here is Indy back in the tomb once again. The scene that he's exploring with Helena, which has a really cool statue here. I'm assuming this is not the same statue we saw earlier because they had the other one seemed to be much larger. I'm not sure. Alright, and then here we are back on top of the train. And this is an image that a lot of people were really curious. So we see Indiana Jones, and we see Toby Jones, who is playing a character named Basil, who's a colleague of Dr. Jones, and we believe a relative, maybe the father of the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character, Helena. Alright, and here we see somebody on top of the train with them, and so we've been wondering who this could be. I think initially, our initial reaction to seeing this, considering that it's a time travel movie, is that maybe that is like another Indy, like maybe one of the Indies is time traveling and the other is not. So that was kind of the theory early on, but I now think that this is Colonel Weber. I think this is the Thomas Kretschmann character. Maybe. There are some other shots which show him a little better, I think. But great shot right here. The train's going. You can see Indy being confronted. I mean, like, why would Indy confront himself? So it seems like it must be an actual German. Really cool. Love the rocks zooming by here. That's a nice shot. All right, and here is Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Helena. And there was a rumor that she could be related to Marcus Brody, the Denholm Elliott, famous, beloved character from the past movies. So some of us believe that she could be named Helena Brody. We know it's pretty much well, not confirmed, but it seems pretty likely that she is related to Basil, because there's a scene where a young girl. We have a description of a scene where is Indy breaking into a home in Oxford, and there's a young girl there as well. So that's how we kind of deduced that. But there's also been a rumor that they are related to Marcus Brody as well. So this is definitely taking place during the chase scene in New York. It seems like she's up on the rooftops for some reason, trying to keep up with Indy and the others, I guess. And just from her reaction, you can tell that something's going on here. So it would be interesting to see how she fits into that scene, because she we have a few shots of her walking with Indy early in the scene, but then she just seemed to disappear. So this was one of the first hints that she was kind of involved in this chase in some way. All right, and now we get a great look at the de-aged Harrison Ford. This looks just like, Harrison Ford did around the time of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and a few years after that. So like a sort of early 90s, mid 90s Harrison Ford. Man, it's really impressive. There's a YouTuber named Shamuk who was making deep fakes of various, Star Wars and different things. And he was actually hired by Lucasfilm to contribute his artistry in the deepfake department with Disney. So he has worked with them. I do believe that the scene in The Mandalorian, not The Mandalorian, but in the Book of Boba Fett, that includes The Mandalorian, that shows Luke Skywalker. I believe that is his work, that Luke, that we see in that scene there. And I believe that this is his work as well. And outstanding work. Looks really great. Unbelievable. Like, I mean, to me, that is the young Harrison Ford. Like, that's completely believable. And while we're here, it looks like we are presumably inside that Bambara Castle. You can see the fireplace raging back there. And actually, in our next shot here, you can tell from kind of the window curtains that it matches pictures that we have of the interior of Bambara Castle. So it looks like these scenes were filmed inside Bambara Castle. So obviously Indy here is disguised as a German officer, but he's been captured. He gets unmasked here. And then here we see Voller, the Mads Mikkelsen character, for the first time. He also seems to have been de-aged. So he's playing a younger, like, German scientist. And he's taking a look at the box here. And you'll notice on the far right, that looks to be Thomas Kretschmann as well, in the role of Colonel Weber. So that's a look at your two kind of major Nazi villains here at the beginning of the film. And so whatever's in the box, it's a very reminiscent of the Ronin briefcase, where we don't get to see it in the trailer at least, but we just get this bright light. All right, and then this is an awesome shot here of that mounted gun on top of the train firing away, which imagine getting the Lego set or something like that with this mounted gun. That would be a really cool little item to have. And here's Ronaldo. This is the Antonio Banderas character, friend of Indy, a long-time old friend, as you can tell from the way that they warmly greet each other in some of the pictures that we've seen. And you can see there's a banjo there, and a net, and a bunch of little items and things. Gives the cabin here a nice feel to it. Lived in, very feels real. So Antonio Banderas, he seems pretty distressed at this point. Something's going on. Maybe Indy's talking to him about whatever's going on. Okay. And so now things are moving really fast here. And so this right in between here, between Antonio Banderas and Mads Mikkelsen, there's this shot. And this is kind of the best moments of it right here. So we could clearly see that German airplane, which is presumably the one that travels through time. And we also see what looks to be young, old Indy on the ground here, because you can see it looks like some gray hair. So it wouldn't be the young Indy. It must be old Indy. And I mean, I'm pretty confident that this is old Indy. I don't know who else it could possibly be. So it looks to me, and big thank you to John Myra for pointing this one out to me. So this is one of the shots that really confirms to me that Indy is time traveling in this movie. This is the only shot really where we semi-clearly see that Indy is in another time. Yeah, so definitely let me know what you think about that. I feel pretty confident that it is the case. And so presumably he's going to get put on the plane. And then here we see Voller once again. Mads Mikkelsen. Looking, looking de-aged, looking young. And then here we see young Indy. And this is, I'm guessing, after he has, my theory that I said earlier is that he's going to escape from somewhere and runs on top of the train in order to get his gear and whatever else he had. Maybe he had the dial with him or something. And maybe to break Basil out of whatever jail also. And this is a nice shot of Indy as well. I think the other shot of Indy is maybe slightly better, but this is, in terms of like the deep fake and all that, but this one's still pretty good. I mean, you can tell something's a little funny, but it's pretty good though. It's pretty good. And great interior in this set. Good production design and all that. I like the way the light warms up the image there. All right, and here, now this is a pair of old hands. Maybe it's Harrison Ford as Indy inside that tomb with Helena, grabbing some sort of a dial here. And I'm not sure if this is the same dial that we see Basil holding in the World War II segment of the film. It must not be if this is old Indy picking this up from the cave. So is this the Dial of Destiny, or is the one that Basil had the Dial of Destiny? We don't know, but this is some sort of a dial, I guess. Maybe this is the MacGuffin. It's not clear, but yeah, that's a nice image. Definitely makes us think. There's a nice little bug moving back there. Alrighty, and here's Indy and Helena in particular here. We see that giant statue of a hand, including a giant hand, I should say. And yeah, Indy is back there. Alright, and here's part of that exploring of the cave, where it looks like something's given way and they're being swept by the water. Maybe they hit a booby trap or they activated a trapdoor or something. Alright, it's not how... what is it he says? It's not... It doesn't matter what you believe, it's how hard you believe it. I don't know, something like that. So... This is possibly... It could possibly be in the World War II segment, or it might be somewhere completely different. It's not clear to me where this shot fits into the film. And as far as I know, we don't have any other shots of this scene in any leaked or released materials. And it looks like Indy's wearing his shirt, but not his jacket. So yeah, not something I recognize from anywhere else so far. Okay, and here is a great shot of the parade, the Apollo 11 parade. First of all, Harrison Ford was not available for this shoot, so they've had to kind of do their best with the CGI and or deepfake here. And I know a few people have said they're not too impressed with this. Which, yeah, I mean, if we're getting really particular, yeah, you can definitely tell there's something a little bit off about it. But, I mean, Harrison Ford was injured. There was nothing we can do, so this is just something that we're going to have to kind of accept in order to enjoy this movie as much as we can. But, yeah, great... great footage that they got. All of the flags, all of the confetti, the crowd, everything. I mean, it's just like glorious. It's wonderful. And man, if it had been the real Harrison Ford there, then it would have been really nice. And then this is elsewhere in the same scene. This is, of course, Kleber, who's the Boyd Holbrook character, who's going to be chasing after Indy in this scene, and he's sort of a lackey to the Mads Mikkelsen character, Voller. At a few points, we were thinking maybe Boyd Holbrook would be playing either Mutt or maybe young Indy himself, but clearly not the case here. But I love all of these shots. Man, imagine being an extra on this shoot. That would have been so great. Being able to have that experience and then go and watch the movie and see yourself. And here's another part of the chase, a funny bit here where the driver is Hawk, who is Oliver Richter's, who's just like a huge, scary dude. And so he's trying to chase after Indy, and while this is happening, Hawk grabs this car, which has, like a beauty queen in it. And then there's this little moment where they almost hit a float or a motorcycle or something. So that and the lady gives it a great scream. So that's good. And then here's more shots of the chase scene here. And this one does look pretty good. Indy's mostly blocked through much of this scene, but you can see a few little clips. It does look like Ford. Man, great shots though. Yeah, I love all of these images. I think they're going to be great. Okay, let's see. And we'll move on. Alrighty, and here is Indy picking up his hat, his gear. And the only thing though is, where does this take place in the movie? It does look like Indy is kind of dressed up in his disguise of the German officer's uniform. So I'm wondering if this is the scene it takes place on the train, maybe? Let's see if there's any movement of the light. I'm not really seeing much movement in the light. I mean, there's something going on, but oh yeah, that is the train. Yeah, you can tell in the top left corner there, you can see that the ground is kind of whizzing by. So this is definitely on the train. It looks to me like this is young Indy disguised as a German officer's uniform, reaching the compartment that has all of his gear, and he's gonna dress up in order to transition from that into this scene right here. So this would probably be one of the next shots right after that. I wonder if we... Oh, shoot. Let's see here. So I wonder if there's anything we can... If you look at the desk here, and then we'll jump over to the next section. If his stuff was on that far desk, then there might be something matches, unless his stuff was on another table that's out of the shot. Alright, so that's a look at that, and now let's take a quick look once again, and I don't know, there's all these maps laid out which were not part of the other shot, so maybe this is a different table. And it looks like I'm looking at trying to read some of these pages here. It's possible that this map, closest one to us, not the full map, but like a one page, looks like it might say Berlin. There's a what's it called? Is that called a protractor? I think it's called a protractor. But yeah, one of these measurement tools is on top of the map, so it's a little blocked out. But it could possibly be saying Berlin, which would, you know, just provide further evidence that this is on the train. Alright. And so then we get a motorcycle chase scene here. And we see two guys, two presumably Germans, on this motorcycle here, and they're going over a hill, and there's an explosion. It's a great shot. And now something completely different. This is back to the cave again, and this is, we see that big, presumably globe of the Earth being held up by presumably Atlas, and Indy and Helena are rigging it in some way to pull the boulder off of it in order to, well, do something, crash something, maybe create a passageway or something. But then we cut over here to another portion in the film, and to me it must be in the World War II section at Bamberg Castle. You can see a fireplace over there. The explosion comes from below the ground, though. So this is an explosion from inside the castle. It's not something where aerial bombardment has hit, unless it like went through a window in a lower level to explode from the bottom. Interesting. Great explosion there. Alright, and then here is Indy fighting. Okay, interesting. I never really paid attention to this shots before, because I had seen the person dressed up that Indy's fighting here, and I thought it was Thomas Kretschmann at one point, but it looks like definitely not Thomas Kretschmann. And so Indy here, this is a scene which we saw from leaked images and video from the set. There's a Vietnam protest. Meanwhile, Indy has been captured by the CIA, Nazi group, whatever they are. And so he kind of uses the chaos of this protest to start a fight and get away. And he is going to grab that protest sign, the Get Out there, and use that to fight back against Hawk. But here he's dispatching one of the goons. And here he dispatches another goon in a different point in time. And looks like maybe younger Indy to me. And definitely a Bamber Castle, of course. You can tell because the banner is in the background there. And here we have Mr. Kleber. This is sort of a funny moment because he's right in the middle of this like war is hell, anti-war protest march here, and he just whips out a pistol and fires it into the air, and sets up a really cool moment here where everyone ducks down and you just see the two of them, and of course like the kind of long. The background of the buildings and stuff. I'm not sure how to best put it into words, but it's just a pretty cool shot right here of them kind of facing down each other. The way you might stage a showdown in a western, but against this backdrop here, against this setting, it's just really unique and interesting. All right, and here's Basil saying Indy. They're coming up against some sort of a tower, and it has something sticking out, so he probably wants to let them know, like, don't hit your head on it, unless it's like this, maybe it's like in Back to the Future, and when they pass a certain marker, it, like, means something. So yeah, that's Toby Jones. Great look at him. He's always great in anything that he's in, so I think fans will be really happy about whatever he contributes. And here we have young Indy, and he is taking part in this chase here. He's his head is being pushed close to the ground here, but somehow he survives. The car in the background takes a nasty little hop here. Okay, so this is... Alright, so let me go back here, because I was looking at this shot and I was thinking maybe Indy is in the... what do you call it? In the sidecar there. And it looks like that other shot just confirmed that. It's possible maybe this shot happens right after the other shot. So after the car flips, there's a huge explosion, and Indy and the other guy are flying away to safety. Alright, so yeah, here's a look at this. It's a cool shot. Let's take a look at the CGI. It looks pretty good. Or the deep fake, I should say. Although, I know a lot of these nighttime shoots where they were filming this chase scene, they had Harrison Ford masks of, young Harrison Ford, which is what the stunt drivers were wearing. So, well, it seems like the eyes do change, so maybe there is an element of deepfake here. But there are going to be some scenes that it's just somebody wearing a Harrison Ford mask, which practical effects are, usually the best way to go anyway, so that hopefully should be fine, as long as they're from far away and they're quick, so you don't see that it's just like a stiff mask with no emotion. Yeah, interesting. Interesting situation, though. I wonder how Indy came to be in this sidecar. So maybe there's an element of jumping from one vehicle to another there. And here's the sort of Millennium Falcon shot that everyone's been saying. Of course, this is a cockpit which inspired the Millennium Falcon, because so many elements of World War II were, and World War II movies were inspirations to George Lucas in coming up with a lot of his visuals for Star Wars. So I don't think there's any accident that this is, paying tribute to Lucasfilm's heritage here by having this this cockpit. And so what is going on here? Is this a time portal? I mean, it seems like that's my best guess. So maybe a time portal here, which is where Indy and Helena and the other character, the Mads Mikkelsen character, presumably are headed. Alright, and here we see on top of the train, there's a fight going on. And you can see Indy using his whip, and there's a German with a gun, and I believe that this is the Thomas Kretschmann character. We got to look at him earlier, and it looks about the same. So I think that's Indy fighting Thomas Kretschmann there. Let me see. I'm not sure if Basil's in the background there or not. Alright. Okay, and then what do we have here? Well, this is the underwater stuff. But who is that? I don't think it's it can't be Antonio Banderas, I don't think. It must be a villain. Maybe it's Hawk? So some villain underwater there, behind some sort of a grate, but I'm not sure what's going on there. And then let's see, it looks like whatever was pulled off of that skeleton earlier that had all the eels is being picked up, maybe, and blasted back to the surface. So I wonder, maybe there's like a fight down here. Maybe there's some... Oh, you know what? I see there's somebody's handcuffed to the gate there. So there's definitely some sort of struggling going on under the water there. There's definitely some opposing factions meeting up under the sea there and having a battle in some way. And yeah, this guy's obviously not in a good position. He's not a happy camper at all. Alright, and now finally back to Fez, Morocco, where we have this great chase scene. And I believe that Mads Mikkelsen is in that green vehicle. And then in the tuk-tuk in front of it, you can see Indy hanging off the back. And they're trying to ram him. And here you see Sonia, and we can see... let me get his name. Ethan something. Where is he? Oh, here we go. And now they changed his full name, so now it's just Ethan Isidore. So here's our boy, born in 2007. French, Mauritanian, Brazilian descent. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, so that's all I was going to look at there. Alright, so yeah, so that's him in the background, you can see, and Helena, of course, is there, and Indy as well. Though at different points, perhaps. But here we have Indy swinging off the back of it, throwing his legs up, just trying to kick the guns away. That's Hawk, of course, at the top. The Oliver Richter's character. Alright, and now we have the train scene, and we see two bodies up there, and one of them, there's like an explosion, and one of them goes flying, but then the one back here is German. So maybe they're both Germans. Man, what's that? Is that a laser? That frame right there is really peculiar. Because it doesn't seem like it's a bomb or a like bombardment or something inside the train. It looks as if it's a laser, honestly. I'm not sure what else it could be. Very strange. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. Okay, so, and then there's another one here. Is that something, maybe it's emanating out of the time portal? And we see quite a few Germans on there getting zapped by that. Huh, very interesting. I'm not sure what that is. Alright, here's another look at Indy during the chase in Morocco. It's a nice image, and here we can see what he's looking at. So at this point, our boy Hynix, I call him, who's played by Ethan Isidore here, is driving the tuk-tuk. Indy is in the back, and Helena is on top of the trunk of another car, and Indy's trying to help her out best he can, but they get separated here by a pretty cool looking red vehicle. Alright, here's a look at her, and this is, I guess, maybe the Thomas Kretschmann character. I may want to just compare his glasses. Let me see here. Can't really see there, but there should be another shot. No, those are different types of glasses. Yeah, I was just trying to see if we can kind of confirm whether or not this is the Mads Mikkelsen character in this vehicle or not. I guess it must be. I don't know. So maybe this is Mads Mikkelsen, or maybe there's another character that we don't know about. But yeah, Helena is there trying to grab something from him. Looks like maybe the dial is in that briefcase there. All right, and then here we're back to New York. This presumably filmed at Pinewood Studios, and this is stuff that Harrison Ford was actually probably able to be on the horse, so these should look a little better. Yeah, that looks like Harrison Ford to me. It doesn't look like a CGI. And then he, of course, goes through the subway here and comes up against a train, and he's racing to beat the train to a cutoff point here. Let me see. Do I have anything else to say about this scene? Yeah, that's Harrison Ford, all right. Oh yeah, so there was a shot that we saw, which was Indy like escaping to the subway on foot. So it's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting to see shots of Indy on a horse in the subway, because we saw plenty of that in the top part, on the ground level. During the parade, he was on the horse. I don't know. Alright. And then... Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. What do you think about the title? Do you like it? I mean, it's probably the fourth best title. I keep kind of going back and forth on this because it's not super long and annoying like King of the Crystal Skull, but Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's like sometimes like if I just like hear it, I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound too interesting. But if I kind of think about what it means, like, you know, it's like this artifact, you know, and you're like try to separate it being a dial of like an ancient artifact and separate that from a telephone dial, for example. So it kind of seems sort of cool, I guess. Alright, who is this man? So this is the scene in Fez, Morocco, where Indy and Indy and Helena are there, and I think there might be like an auction or something going on, because there's some people who have been credited as bidders and buyers in the IMDb page. Like at first I thought it looked like just like a poker game, but there must be like a reason for them being there. So there's a bunch of, hitmen and assassins and lowlifes and all these thugs and stuff in this room, and Indy and Helena are here for whatever reason. And this is kind of funny scene. Looks like Helena is trying to do things her way, and talk to him and get it her way, and then Indy just has no patience for that, and he comes in and probably just tries to like force his way to get whatever item. And so you can see the eye rolling from Phoebe Waller-Bridge and like their relationship. It should be funny, hopefully. Alright, and then Indy takes out his whip. Some things obviously have happened. This has escalated. I'm just looking down towards Indy. It looks like there is like a metal thing there, but it looks to me like it's just like one of those lights you would buy at the hardware store. Unless that's the dial. And then there's a red pillow, maybe that it was resting on, maybe it fell off. I don't know. Okay, so Indy starts, whipping at everybody. And you can see, you can see right here, this is Ethan Isidore. Spoiler right here, that is our boy with the curly hair, so it's an easy one to miss, but yeah, he is there in the scene. And of course Hawk is there as well, so we can kind of see how some of these characters are all tied together in this scene. And there's just like a bunch of thugs and bad guys. So I'm thinking what happens is Indy and Helena, maybe because of Indy, they try to steal the item, and then they try to get away, and all these people are chasing after them, and presumably our boy here helps them escape, I guess. And something interesting about this character, there's a scene in the Sicily part of the film where he allegedly gets kidnapped, so he must have some sort of knowledge that's, important, but we don't know what that is quite yet, but I'm just providing the information that we have. Interesting. Such a variety of like costumes and characters. I think this is kind of an interesting little scene. Kind of like not quite the same thing, but like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, you had the Raven, which was just like all these like kind of not on this level, but in like Indiana Jones, like RPGing sort of. There was the Raven message board back in the day. We used to go and we would be like pretend we were the patrons of the Raven, and we were all like assassins and different people from different walks of life, and so it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Wow, look at the whip as it comes through here. Very cool. Probably CGI, I would think, because you wouldn't put your actors in harm's way like that. It seems like it goes right over her head, unless it's like a forced perspective thing, that they're a little further back than we think they are. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Get back. And then everyone pulls out their guns. Great shot here, great funny moment. Of course, we mentioned that this is Anthony N. Gruber, who is a well-known Harrison Ford impersonator and lookalike. And some people have said that, and I included, I hope they give him a chance maybe to be Indiana Jones and maybe to make some new Indiana Jones movies and content with him playing that character. And so you can definitely check out, he has a impersonation video he did like 10 years ago where he plays both Indiana Jones and Henry Sr. So you can get an idea if you would like to see him in that role or not. Yeah, really cool. I love all the costumes and the background and everything here. It looks really cool. I think this will be a fun part of the movie. And oops, he's in big trouble. And luckily the guy in the red hat got out of the way. And let's just see. Okay, so this bowl or whatever is still there. So whatever. I just am wondering if maybe did Indy grab something? I don't see anything in his hand. I was wondering maybe he steals whatever's being auctioned and gets away, but we don't have... Because that would make sense that people are chasing after him to get it back. But we don't know anything for sure right now, and I think that is pretty much it. Alright, so I'm going to jump back to my... Whoops. See what you guys are saying. Alright, so we'll just run through your comments really quick. These has obviously been from like an hour ago or whatever that I've been doing this. How long have we been going? Let me see. 11:30. Wow, we've been going almost an hour and a half, huh? Hello there, says Cervantes. I wish people would stop bashing the movie. It's exhausting, says Jake. That is true. Honestly, looking forward to this one, even if it's a 2-hour popcorn flick. First scene is chase scene after the hotel. Right, yeah, the Morocco I think you're talking about. I'm just excited that he uses the whip a lot, and he's wearing the tie. Love that. Does it bother you what other people think? It just goes in one ear and out the other. Others have standards of this film. Expectations won't just take any old thing they give us. Plus, I have a good feeling about James Mangold. The boat had the artifact, then crash, and Indy finds it later. Oh yeah, that's a good point. So the, so yeah, Indy goes underwater to get that that artifact there. Yeah. All right, way too much CG for an indie film, says Sonic Imperium. Which, yeah, there is a lot. You know, hopefully they only do what's necessary. They obviously are going to have to do a lot of de-aging things. But, yeah, hopefully they make it good. Hopefully the combination... Because the combination of, like, practical and digital is usually pretty good. And deep fake, while it is, like... It is computer generated, sort of. I mean, it uses computer. I guess it's not computer generated. But hopefully the marriage of deepfake and CGI work on the faces can be used in a way that's better than what we've seen in the past. So we'll see. Time travel. Yo, what's up, broski? Bless you. You gonna continue playing Infernal Machine anytime soon? LOL. Yeah, I could. I wanted to do this video. I thought this would be a good, fun video to do. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, we'll probably do some Infernal Machine and some other things here. Alright. Yeah, let me just do a quick break really quick here. Oh, man. Alright, yeah, so we've been, I was playing a little Infernal Machine the other day, and I was having some issues kind of with the controls and just, I don't know, I always find that game really hard for some reason. Like, the shooting, and the action aspects of it are always kind of tricky. I'm not sure. Let's see. Alright, but yeah, hopefully we'll start playing that again at some point here. Alright, Lost Canyon says, Indy, snakes, Helena, they're just eels, Indy. Alright, I think it's just a throwaway class. I think that means the classroom scene, essentially, he's saying, I don't think it's related to anything. Almost looks like the Nazi bell. They're talking about that image. Yeah, that's what people were saying, but apparently it's not the case. Yeah, I said Sonia, I said Helena. How dare... Alright, hello, hello. Definitely the Nazi Bell, which is time travel. I mean, as long as Indy is alive at the end, it'll be a good fourth movie. Yeah, so there's a, what's it called? The Nazi Bell. Oh man. Yeah, this is like a well-known thing, but there's like this sort of bell-shaped, like experiment that the Nazis allegedly did. I mean, I think this is mostly a rumor that this, but it was, yeah, everyone's been telling me about this, and that it's somehow related with the time travel, and people were talking about that a lot, like early on, but now it seems like maybe it's not really the case that's has anything to do with this movie. Oh man, sorry, I gotta. Die Glocke. Yeah, Die Glocke. Yeah, you can see here it was a purported top secret Nazi scientist technological device, secret weapon, or Wunderwaffe. Alright. And so yeah, some people still think that Die Glocke is involved, and so that image of it's right here. So that image here, a lot of people said, "Oh, that must be Die Glocke," but no, it's actually like a Hebrew like bowl or something. It's like nothing relevant to the plot, I don't think. All right. And 85. Could that have been a head belonging to the hand? I'm not sure what part that's referring to. Sorry, I didn't. I only have my one screen up today, so I didn't have a way to look at the chat while I was going through this. Stock to Ferry has hello, Kevin. What up, buddy? Good to see you. Blue Coronado, good to see you, buddy. Hopefully your comic is coming along nicely. Alright. Stock to Ferry. I think it's Indy. The scene resembles him at the beginning of Last Crusade when he's running on top of the train. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Hello, everyone. Happy Festivus. You too. Oh, I'm lost. Okay. Alright, my bet is at the end of the movie, Voller tries to jump back from 69 to 44, but Indy follows his plan and jumps from the plane just in time with Helena. After they jump from the plane, Voller is sent to ancient Syracuse while Indy lands in the exact same location, but still in 69. Oh, interesting. Alright, Julian says that's the general. CGI looks terrible, says JJ Dawes. Looks like they need to redo it. Yeah, hopefully these are not the final the final work on the CGI. So hopefully there's still time to improve some of these things. Indy slapping some hippies. It's the big gun from before. Alright, the title has grown on me a lot. I ordered a t-shirt off Hot Topic. Better than Kingdom in terms of the title. My favorite scene, I think that's referring to the auction scene at the end. I hope if Lego makes a new Indiana Jones game with the previous films and the Dial of Destiny included. Yeah, they definitely need to do that. I've never played any of those games, but I hope that they do, because I want as much indie content as we can possibly get, so I hope they do that. And there are 8 Lego indie sets coming, and actually I'm gonna probably do like maybe a video on Lego Indiana Jones later, but just really quickly, yeah. So for for 2023, and I think these are coming out in May. There are going to be 8 Indiana Jones Lego sets, and we know that 3 of them are basically remakes of or upgrades of previous Lego Indiana Jones sets from 15 years ago. One is the Well of the Soul scene. One is the airplane chase with Indy and his dad from Last Crusade, and one is the Temple of Doom, like the full temple. And then there's another one which is like supposed to be a big set, and we don't know if it's part of Indy 5 or if it's a callback set. Some people said, oh, since they did one for each of the other films, it'll probably be Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But I think maybe it could be the Chachapoyan Temple, which is the famous opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then there are 4 other sets which we don't know anything about, and we presume those are all Indy 5 sets. So 8 total sets coming from LEGO, and unfortunately we haven't had any more info since that came out a few months ago. Alright. The first Lego Indiana Jones game was a classic. I still play it here and there. Plus I really like the young Indy DH technology. I really like Shimuk's work. And then can't wait until we get more news from the TV show. Yeah, seems like it's gonna be ways off. Like we had this video game that was announced 2 years ago, and we have had no information about that. So I feel like the TV show is similar. Like it's gonna be like they're throwing ideas around, but there's not any sort of plan anytime soon to do anything with it, unfortunately. Alright. Can't wait till we get more news for the TV show. I actually got the game this Christmas for my PS3, says Vulcan. Harrison Ford was blown away by the de-aging. Michael Wilson says Deglocka. Yep, and you guys are saying yes, it's Deglocka. In one of those theories about it. Alright, giant hand on the floor and the round globe is Atlas and the Earth, question mark, says Mario. Which I believe so, yes. Alright, you should do a gameplay walkthrough with the original LEGO Indie game. I don't think I actually own that game, because I don't think I ever bought... Because I bought some of the other Indiana Jones games on Steam, but I didn't buy the LEGO ones. And I've never bought the LEGO Indiana Jones games. I actually, like... You know, I was really into LEGO when I was a kid, but then I did not, like, really follow it for a long time, and I didn't do the LEGO Indiana Jones games, although I'm thinking to maybe check those out at some point. But in the last few days, I've actually, like, I was watching another channel that somebody I know from The Raven from back in the day, that he usually talks about, like, action figures, and Indiana Jones included, but other ones too. And he had a video about, like, a Lego set. And so I watched that, and now I'm suddenly interested in Lego again, and I feel like I could be like wanting to buy even like some of the old sets. And I went back and I looked at a bunch of like classic Lego sets of Indiana Jones and other things, and yeah, I'd love to play some Lego. I can't wait for those new ones, the next 8 sets which are coming out. And if the older sets were not so expensive, I'd probably buy a few. It's like the Temple Escape from Raiders of the Lost Ark that I told you. It was like you could maybe get one for like $200 or $300. Is like apparently like a reasonable price for that. And I've seen some which are much more expensive than that. So yeah, they're really hard to get a hold of, and I don't know that I want to spend like a ton of money on that right now. All right, Casey says I could send it to you. I guess you must be talking about the Lego Indie game, maybe. Well, what, Casey? What system do you have that on? If you're offering to send it, or is it something else that you're talking about? All right, the Indiana Jones Hanger says, "Hey Kevin, what up, bud? Good to see you." He says, "I bought a few Lego Indie sets. Did you buy these recently, or you bought them way back when they came out?" All right, Mario says, thanks for doing this, and thanks, y'all. Have a great new year. Hey, happy new year, my friend. Take care. Casey says he has it on Xbox. Well, I have it on... Okay, so this is something I should probably figure out. So first of all, Steam... Jones Lego... oh, it's only like $5. I might as well just get on Steam. Yeah, one of the challenges is in terms of video gaming. I got this computer fairly recently, and I told my friend, like, I want to have one that is, I can't spend a ton of money, but I want to be able to play games and edit videos and things. However, it does sometimes have problems with, especially more recent games. Probably those Lego games will be just fine, but yeah, sometimes I try to play a game and it's just like choppy. And I do have an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4, but I currently don't have a way to connect that in order to stream from those, so that's something I could look into in the future. Casey, I'm going to leave my email. If you want to just email me, we can stay in touch. I probably won't need to do that, but at least we can stay in touch about that. But thank you, my friend. Okay, Indiana Joe's Hanger says, I have the Akator Temple, Well of the Souls, River Chase, and just bought the Cemetery Battle. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Indiana Joe's Hanger, where did you get those at, if I may ask? Because I'd love to pick up some sets one of these days. So, I guess while I'm waiting for those answers, we can talk about this movie as a whole. I've been really positive about this movie. I still am positive. I think that I think it's going to be good. James Mangold is a great director. Harrison Ford is awesome at what he does. I know that there is some warranted worries people have because of recent films, in particular the Skywalker or the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which was not planned out and had stupid agendas and just like stupid like decisions, and yeah, I was really disappointed by the Star Wars sequels. Like, they definitely hurt my ability to like Star Wars a lot. So yeah, we'll see about that. And people are saying because Kathleen Kennedy is involved, as she was in those Star Wars movies, that's like a sign of danger, which, like, there is some truth to that, but also she's been involved in Indiana Jones since the beginning. Maybe hopefully she learned her lesson. I don't know. I really hope that it's like gonna be a good, satisfying movie. I think it will be. It's just seeing Harrison Ford as Indy again is like a big like reason to watch the movie. I think that opening scene, the chase scene, the World War II scene is gonna be worth every penny. So I think just looking at the action scenes alone, it's gonna be really satisfying. The only things that are kind of unclear is, regarding the ending and Helena's role and what's going to happen regarding this whole thing. And I know there's been a lot of like negativity about it, but what I have found is that when somebody like in the media wants to get a lot of people to watch their video or read their article or whatever it is. Like, they try to trigger something that, like, makes you mad. And so I think a lot of people, they've been coming up, either making something up or just taking something that someone else has made up and running with it because it triggers people. Because they say, oh, this terrible thing is going on with Indiana Jones 5, and people see that article title and they're like, oh my god, that makes me so mad, let me watch this video so I can see what's going on, you know? So I think there's a lot of that going on. I think the movie's gonna be good. So that's what I think. I think there's just been a lot of this, like, nonsense of clickbait, essentially, people trying to get people to watch their videos. But I think that we're gonna be in good hands. I don't think the movie's gonna be as disappointing as some of them have made it look. So that's what I have to say about that. Let me see. Indiana Jones Hanger says, I do have to leave, but love stopping in. He says, I got Agator and some of those from a friend. 12 Souls from Goodwill and Cemetery Battle from eBay. Oh, Goodwill's interesting. I wonder if you got a full set from Goodwill, because it seems like it's sometimes you can't rely on that having a full set, but that's cool if you did. All right, as an OG and prequel trilogy fan of Star Wars, I'm majorly disappointed on the sequel trilogy, says Vulcan. I just hope if the leaked ending for Dial of Destiny isn't real. Yeah, I don't even watch that other YouTube channel who puts out some of those informations, and I think it's widely of like the Indiana Jones like community, like the people who are kind of on the Facebook groups and the Raven and Reddit and all of these places. I think it's kind of widely accepted that YouTuber is like full of crap. So I think Indiana Jones Hanger says it was only missing one piece. Oh, so that's pretty good then. Hopefully not a super vital piece, but yeah, that's awesome. I saw some that, like, on eBay, that it was like the Chachapoyan Temple, but it's missing like the ball and the idol, and it's like, oh man, those are like the most important pieces. So yeah, that's great. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of negativity out there, which are just people like stoking fires for their own like financial benefit. Like, I could make videos about that. Like, I'm sure it would be really easy just to make up like some nonsense, and like I would get like thousands of views on that. But no, that's not something I'm gonna do. I want to be like a good Indiana Jones channel. Yep. Well, I think we're getting pretty close here. Give me 1 second. We'll just take a look if there's anything else. I'm just going to take a quick look, just see if there's any breaking news of any sort. Some cool stuff here. Ooh. Alright, and let's just jump on Twitter. Sometimes could be some news or something going on. No, this is old stuff. Alright, yeah, so I think that pretty much does it, unless anyone has anything else. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, we've had a fun time watching this video. I'm definitely going to keep this video up so people will be able to watch it. Thank you all so much for joining me, as always, and I wish you all fortune and glory. Bye-bye now.